with details regarding Tony Khan's study on bots targeting AEW and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for April 9th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. With AEW signing many big names in recent times like CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, and Adam Cole, there are many that think the company is bringing in too many wrestlers. Talking about this with the Dallas Morning News, Cash Wheeler gave this response to critics. When AEW started, they had to build from scratch, and you don't know who's going to work on TV, who's not going to work on TV, who the fans will accept and who they won't. So you've just got to sign everybody and hope after a couple of years you've kind of got a better read on everything. What's established, what isn't. You can't plan for things that are completely unexpected. So some of these names that became available to him, he never could have foreseen that coming. None of us could. So when it was available, he would be a terrible businessman to not pursue that because it's going to make his company better. And it's going to make his talent better because now they have another brain to pick. Despite teasing a return to in-ring action multiple times, former WWE star Ryback noted on a show that he will never sign another pro wrestling contract. I have no interest in signing a contract ever again. Hey, I'll go sit in the bleachers and you figure out what to do with me. Never again. I've learned. I never should have signed a contract. But we all do it in that position because it's your dream. But it's strictly business, and that's that. In November, Mia Yim would end up being released by WWE after her solo stint on NXT and the following run on the main roster with the Retribution stable. Yim would make her in-ring return at WrestleCon and defeated Ember Moon, as she took to Instagram after to detail her struggles before making her comeback. Long post ahead. I needed WrestleCon weekend. This photo plus my match was enough for me to get my stuff together. I really let myself go. The past year, I've been going through a professional mental roller coaster. The last few months, I stopped caring. I ate whatever, worked out sporadically, keeping myself busy with real life changes. The thought of wrestling gave me more anxiety. I'm already an anxious person as it is. My mindset was not where it needed to be and it showed on my body. I refused to train in the ring leading up to my first match as the thought had me shaking. I convinced myself I wasn't good enough. I can't wrestle and whenever I did, it was trash, so what's the point of training when I suck anyways? The week of my first match I contemplated canceling because the closer it got to the match, the less sleep I got and more doubt crept into my mind. I just wanted to get this weekend over with. Hearing the crowd chant, having a great match with Athena, Keith being there to watch, and seeing people I haven't seen in years with inspiring words before and after the match was what I needed. To all my friends and fans, thank you for reigniting that fire in me. Thank you for helping me realize I am not and I still got something to offer in wrestling. You all reminded me why I love wrestling and that I am good enough for it. I love you all and I promise you, we only going up from here. Let's get back to work. P.S. Shelton Benjamin, you still suck. Hope you trip on the stairs. After appearing during the first night of WrestleMania 38, Stone Cold Steve Austin would make his presence felt on night 2 as he gave a stunner to Vince McMahon. The WWE chairman was not able to stay upright as his legs seemed to give out when taking the move. On his 83 Weeks podcast, Eric Bischoff spoke about McMahon's stunner bump, saying, I know people are going to be laughing about the stunner. Whatever, but man, come on. You pay money to be entertained and having fun is a part of that. That whole segment was nothing but fun. Yeah, the stunner looked horrible, and I would imagine Vince is very angry with himself, but hopefully he gives himself a break because he entertained the hell out of me and a lot of people, man. Hats off to Vince, the entire team, and so many people. What an incredible event. In many ways, I think it's one of my favorite WrestleManias in a long time. After Hit Row was called up to the main roster following a great run on NXT, all members would end up being let go from WWE. On casual conversations with the Wrestling Classic, Tahuti Miles, known in WWE as Ashante the Adonis, spoke about Vince McMahon and Paul Heyman telling the group they'd make the company a lot of money. There wasn't like a plan with like a feud or anything, but they were saying that they wanted to get to events that he wanted to get us over. Also, Vince McMahon and Paul Heyman at 2 different times told us, we're gonna have a lot of fun with you guys. We're gonna make a lot of money with you guys. I was like, perfect, sounds great. Obviously, that didn't end up happening, but we actually made them a lot of money on NXT. While Vince McMahon is seen as intimidating to many, there is a fun-loving side to him that those in WWE are privy to. As Big Damo, known in WWE as Killian Dane, recalled when McMahon was playing hide-and-seek backstage. But I did see one day he played hide-and-seek with Alexander Wolf. It was one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen, because he can be very affable. He can be very funny. I never saw him be physical, but there was one time. Don't get me wrong, this is hilarious because I was 330 pounds at this point, and I shake his hand and he pulls me in to tell me something. I can't even remember what he said, but he pulls me in. I was like, this guy literally just pulled me over. I was thinking to myself, if I pulled back, I'd probably pull his arm off, but I was not expecting his strength at the time. Sadly, I never saw him wrestle anybody. Signing with AEW in December, Brody King is a part of the House of Black stable with Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black. On the AEW Unrestricted podcast, King revealed that MJF and Darby Allin played a big role in him joining the promotion. It was just kind of weird. Like you said, a lot of people that were probably excited for me to be there were also maybe campaigning for me to come there. Guys like MJF and Darby. There's a whole list of people that I used to work with on the indies. We all kind of came up together. So they would check in every couple of months and be like, hey, when is your contract up? When are you coming here? Then obviously with the fallout of Ring of Honor, the gears started turning a little bit more. I got in contact with Tony, I think maybe the day after the news of Ring of Honor broke. It happened quite rapidly. With Logan Paul and The Miz able to defeat the Mysterios at WrestleMania 38, the Maverick would reveal in the MMA Hour that he did not prepare much in terms of training for this event. No bro, I trained for 2 days, for 2 hours each day. I swear to God, I didn't train at all. That's why I'm like, holy shit. If I did that with 4 hours of collective training, imagine I dedicate some real time to this, what I can do. I had 2 days in Orlando a couple weeks earlier. Then in Texas we practiced a couple of moves a couple of times, but like nothing dude, nothing. No serious training. Of course, The Miz turned on Logan Paul following their victory, as reports have stated that WWE promised Paul he would be a babyface by the end of Mania. It'll be interesting to see when Logan makes his return to the promotion. Speaking about the no-holds-barred match that took place at WrestleMania between Kevin Owens and Steve Austin, Matt Hardy said on his podcast that KO was the perfect opponent for Stone Cold. I am genuinely very happy for Kevin Owens. I have a lot of respect for him. I even talked to him after the match as well. I'm so glad he got that moment because he was the guy that I first worked with in Ring of Honor, and I knew he was special right from moment one. Owens is a terrific performer. A lot of people then were judgmental of his body shape, but the hell with that, man. That really doesn't make a difference in the standing age. With him leaving AEW to make his WWE comeback at WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes would defeat Seth Rollins at the event, as the two shared a handshake days after on Monday Night Raw. It seems this rivalry is just getting started, with it reported that Matt Men's Andrew Zarian mentioned that plans for Ronda Rousey include possibly tagging with Shayna Baszler. He also said that Cody Rhodes will continue his feud with Seth Rollins. Yesterday, AEW President Tony Khan would take to Twitter to claim that most of those online hating on AEW are paid trolls and bots, as he gave more details regarding this during his talk with Wrestling Inc. Waiting for final study, but here's what my expert confirmed. It's people with real live accounts making posts and then using their bots to manipulate the social channel algorithm by backing them up with engagement from a made-up Twitter identity. Social media teams will often fight on this. Bots are great for numbers, and when they're gone, you'll see a dip in digital conversation impressions. Both those were either negative sentiment or not real anyway. Khan then explained how bots work. For example, I tweet Mega only eats rotten bananas. I throw say 18 bots behind it, which takes about 5 minutes to do. Twitter security can't differentiate when done well, neither can most social teams. The problem becomes every time people type Mega into the search bar because of a real account supported by bots, the first suggested result would be tweets about Mega eating rotten bananas. I'm oversimplifying, but that's the 5-cent version of what's happening. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer claim the study is being done by a third-party firm. The study's not done. What I understand is that he had a premonition of this, being that it's kind of his field. Then he got somebody independent firm and asked them to just kind of study stuff, including this. The thing is still ongoing. It is not concluded, but they did report to him, I guess probably today or yesterday, what he just reported. So that was the first stuff he got, which confirmed his initial suspicions. So I think that's what it is. He suspected something and found it out to be true. So that was the reason he wrote that. If you read it, I would say you would say that WWE is paying for the botnet. I don't know that there is or isn't proof of that. That's the big question. I don't have that answer past the point that when I read it, I read that as that insinuation. So I guess you could say that, yeah. That I don't know if there is proof of or just the fact that stuff is going on. Whatever this would be, and I'm sure at some point there will be more on this and the whole study will be out, and at this point I'll probably do a better job of explaining stuff because I don't know that much. With Charlotte Flair able to defeat Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania and retain her SmackDown Women's title, WWE has announced that the two will collide once again at the upcoming pay-per-view. Despite the fact that Rousey made Flair tap out at WrestleMania, she did not win the title due to the referee being knocked out when it happened. Although Flair was able to squeak out a victory, Rousey returned to SmackDown the following Friday and wasted a little time challenging the opportunity to an I Quit match. In response to the bold challenge, Flair refused and told the Rowdy One to get to the back of the line. Not to be outdone though, the baddest woman on the planet insisted the rematch will happen, and that Charlotte will scream no when she turns the title holder's arm backwards. She later petitioned to have the rematch, and WWE management made it official on Talking Smack. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.